Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Heat Digest. We have massive news coming out of the NBA revolving around the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers and their best player, Donovan Mitchell. We'll break down the report and talk about how it affects the Miami Heat on this episode of Heat Digest. Is Mitchell going to land in Miami? Well, Brian Windhorst, as of this morning, released a quote that the NBA Central then reposted on Twitter. The Miami Heat are expected to have interest in Donovan Mitchell per Brian Windhorst. Now, if this, as a Miami Heat fan or a Donovan Mitchell fan or follower, seems familiar, it's because it is. This past offseason, before the Cavs landed Donovan Mitchell from Utah, the Heat were linked with Mitchell in the summer of 22 before he was traded from the Utah Jazz to the Cavs. The speculation has continued this season because there are rumors of Mitchell considering opting out of his final season in Cleveland next summer. Now let's quickly break that down. Donovan Mitchell on a contract. It expires next summer. He has the player option to opt out of that contract. Now what does that mean? He can opt out of that contract and become an unrestricted free agent. Unrestricted in the sense that there's not a team or an organization sitting above him, like kind of making sure or like putting boundaries on what he can and can't explore. If he's an unrestricted free agent, the team has no ability to get anything back in return for him, as another team could offer him a contract that he could agree to and then go to and sign with. Rather than if, like the Cleveland Cavaliers and the speculations coming from, if Cleveland notices Mitchell might want out, he might be out of here by next year, let's move him ourselves before he moves himself and we can't benefit from it. So if the Cleveland Cavaliers are capable of making a trade, whether it be with Miami or anyone else, they would then be able to gather assets, whether they be draft picks of other active players, cash considerations. They could be able to get any of those three things, rather than if they let him walk and become a free agent, they will not be able to gain anything in return for the departure of Donovan Mitchell. Now, that quote was from Sports Illustrated. This one is as well. Donovan Mitchell's next team odds. New York Knicks are the favorite as of right now with at plus 250. The Brooklyn Nets at plus 275. And then good old Miami at plus 425 with a 19% chance of being the landing spot for Donovan Mitchell. Now, this again, that was from Sports Illustrated. They were reposting or reposting betting odds on Donovan Mitchell's landing area. Wherever it is, we do not know yet. Now, let's talk about the fit if the Miami Heat decided to go out and get Donovan Mitchell. Do I think personally it is a great idea for the Miami Heat to go do it? No. Only because I feel like he fits in the same category as a Zach LaVine. If we look at Donovan Mitchell's stats, he's averaging 27.7 points a game. He's a freak. 5.5 rebounds a game, 5.5 assists while shooting 45%. This kid's only 27 years old. He's 6'3". He plays the 1, the 2, and really the 3 if he has to. He's a great player. He's an absolutely great player. He plays both sides of the ball. He's not a liability on defense, like I've said Zach LaVine is in recent videos. The problem is, how would he fit in? Tyler Hero has just come back. He's in 2 consecutive games back. He hasn't averaged. He's had 25 and 28. Duncan Robinson coming off the bench last night, coming off starting the game before that, playing out of his mind. Jimmy Butler did not play last night, but has been playing exceptionally well when active. Bam Adebayo in his second game back last night. Another productive game. Again, not playing the same position as Donovan Mitchell, but still taking up parts in that starting rotation. Jaime Jaquez Jr. started his 5th game last night. He will not be a consistent starter, as we do have Tyler Hero. Jimmy Butler will come back, if not tomorrow night against the Hawks. In upcoming games, he will be back. Obviously, it is not a season-ending injury. And then we have a lot of depth. We really do. Now with all these players back, we have a bunch of depth. When we didn't have these players, we kind of were close to shambles, as we didn't have Bam, we didn't have Tyler, we didn't have Duncan for a period of time. Jimmy was on and off. It was getting scary in Miami. But now with these players back and the way we look with these players back and active, what would we really give up without losing too much? Now, Here are, this is from ESPN just from today. Off the board for Miami. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, both not really movable due to their contracts and who they are to the team. Also, Drew Smith, he's unable to be moved until January 21st. It's a signing restriction. Players with trade value. Lowry, who's at the end of his career playing a role of really a leader, more of that Udonis Haslem role, except he does play a little bit more than Haslem did when in Haslem's final 19 and 20th seasons. Haywood Highsmith, who played exceptionally well last night against the Orlando Magic, and then Caleb Martin, who has struggled in the past 2 games. All 3 of those players do have decent trade value while maintaining exceptional, not exceptional, but maintainable contracts. Now, free agents coming up in this offseason, Caleb Martin, like I said, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, Josh Richardson, Thomas Bryant, and Haywood Highsmith all are upcoming free agents for the Miami Heat after this season. Now, all of the players I just listed have decent to, if not good, trade value, along with not just on the court and with their contracts financially, but due to the fact that they become unrestricted free agents at the end of this year. If Miami decided to trade any of those players to Cleveland, Cleveland wouldn't have to worry about the rollover of the transactions from their contracts after this season. They wouldn't have to worry about them being there longer than 1 season, like having to move them again, taking a loss on the books financially. Where'd it go? I'm all over the place. Here we go. So these players with the free agents in July listed here, I think these are all available players that Miami would possibly consider moving. Would they move all of them for Donovan Mitchell? Absolutely not, because then once again depth becomes a serious issue. Controllable contracts. I don't think we move Jaquez, and I don't think we move Nikola. I know Nikola has not played very much at all this year, but he's another rookie along with Jaquez, who I think both of these guys are going to be given more and more minutes as the year goes on, and to see how much better they can really become, especially learning under some players like Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, and even Udonis Haslem, who is not actively on the roster but has a coaching role for player development and really coaching the younger players that do be brought into Miami. So that should be interesting. Also, Orlando Robinson is a possibility. Again, another very young center who has very good upside, it seems like. Don't know if Miami would really pull the trigger on moving a group of players, especially if they're all young. Excuse me. Should be interesting to see what we do. Now, draft capital. We don't have a lot of draft picks. I've covered this in one of the videos prior. Should be interesting to see what we do give up, what we're willing to give up. If you read this here, it says Miami can trade 2 first-round picks, 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2030. The Heat can swap first in 2024, 27, 28, 29, and 30. The Heat have 2 second-round picks available to trade. Now, what does that mean? That just means we don't have a lot of things to move with, draft pick-wise. We do have a few options, but we don't have a lot because we owe Oklahoma City some picks. And who else do we owe picks? We owe a top 14 protected pick in 2025. The first is unprotected in 2026, is not conveyed yet in the prior season. So yes, we only have 2 draft picks that we can really move, like, without any questions, I believe. So is it going to happen? I don't think it will. I sincerely don't. Cleveland is really in shambles. If we look here, here's their injury report. Ricky Rubio, he's out because they're looking to part ways with him. So Ricky Rubio probably won't be a part of the Cleveland Cavs after this upcoming month. Ty Jerome, he's out with an ankle injury. Then Evan Mobley, one of their starting power forward / center, out with knee surgery. He'll miss 6 to 8 weeks. That's not good. Darius Garland, fractured jaw. This is a new report. Shams actually tweeted about it again today. He's definitely missing anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks with the fractured jaw. Not good for Cleveland, and now their number 1 star is being linked in more trade talks. Does it make sense for Cleveland? Absolutely. Move your best player who has the most trade value before he walks and you can't get anything for him. That makes all the sense in the world. Will Miami be the landing spot? I cannot confidently say yes. I can't even confidently say maybe. It should be interesting. I hope we don't shoot ourselves in the foot in moving too many pieces and losing depth, but I do have faith in the Miami Heat organization that will not happen. It should just be an interesting roller coaster leading up to the trade deadline here in the next month or so. Can't wait. You'll see updates from me coming out of this channel on Heat Digest. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things Heat, including these trade rumors and everything else. Have a great day.